Hi, grade six. This is a math lesson for page 279, numbers 38 through 69. So let's get started. I might do some problems that are similar to the ones you have. I might also do some of the actual problems that you have. Let's look at 38 to 40. 38 to 40, they're looking for multiplicative inverses. Or, in other words, you could say that they're looking for reciprocals. If, for example, somebody said, hey, what's the multiplicative inverse of that? Remember, it's 11/5. And the question is why? Multiplicative inverses are two numbers that when you multiply them together, you get the number 1. 55 over 55 equals the number 1. These are multiplicative inverses. How do you do it when somebody gives you a mixed number like 1 and 4/5? Well, first change it into a fraction, 9/5. 5 times 1 plus 4 is 9 over 5. And then flip it, and there's your multiplicative inverse. Okay, how about 41 to 43? 41 to 43. Do you remember how to solve those equations? I'm going to do one similar to 42. 42 says 4/5 times b equals a positive 12. I'm going to go with 3/5 times b equals 15. Well, b is attached to 3/5 by multiplication. If I want to find out what b is, I'm going to do the opposite of multiplying by 3/5. Do you remember that? The opposite of multiplying by 3/5 is dividing by 3/5, and I have to do it to both sides of the equation. Remember that? And so my b value is going to equal whatever that is. Now we have to remember the rule about dividing fractions. Here's our sheet for dividing fractions. Remember this? To divide fractions, you multiply by the reciprocal of the second number. So that means 15 over 1 times 5 over 3. Hey, is there any simplifying I can do here? Yes, there is. Divide by 3, and I get a final answer, in this case, of 25. How about something like number 43? Number 43, where they have decimal numbers. I'll do one similar to that. What if I had negative 6.8 equals n over 2? Well, n is attached to 2 by division. What's the opposite of dividing by 2? Isn't it multiplying by 2? You betcha. So I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 2, and that gives me an n value equaling to negative 13.6. Negative 13.6. Okay. Number 44 says, a new planet was discovered in 1996. Earth's diameter, 7,970 miles, is only 5/86 the size of this planet's diameter. Solve the following equation. 5 over 86 times d equals 7,970 to find d, the diameter of this planet in miles. How would I do that? Well, they're basically telling you to write this down and solve it. What's the opposite of multiplying d by this? Isn't it dividing d by this? You betcha. So the first step I would do in solving this problem is I would divide both sides of the equation by that fraction, which is 5 over 86. With me so far? Over here, what do we get? We should get a d value. Over here, do you remember how to divide? To divide, we multiply by the reciprocal of the second number. So that gives us this over 1 times 86 over 5. How would you do that? Well, You can multiply and simplify, or you can simplify these two fractions first, but you at least got to start on it for number 44. Okay, I'm going to turn the page, and I'm going to look at 45 through 53. Uh-oh, all sorts of fraction problems where they're dividing. Shouldn't be a big deal by now. We've got that rule, right? To divide, we multiply by the reciprocal of the second number. I'm going to do number 52. I'm doing number 52 right now. 4 3/10 divided by 2 1/5. How would I do that one? Well, first, I'm going to change these into fractions. 43/10 and 11/5. To divide, we multiply by the reciprocal of the second number. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of this. What's the reciprocal of that? 5/11, right? Is there any simplifying I can do? Yes. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. And I get 1, and I get 2. Finally, I get 43 over 22. If I divide 22 into 43, it goes one time with a remainder of 21 over 22. And there's the answer to that. How do I know this? 43 divided by 22 once. Remainder of 21. 20 over 22. So that's 52. How about 54 through 58? I'm going to do one of those. How about, I'm going to do 56. 48 ounces equals how many pounds? 48 ounces equals how many pounds? Remember how I told you to solve these? First, figure out the relationship between ounces and pounds. I know there's 16 ounces in every 1 pound. Then, what kind of relation is happening from left to right? It's dividing by 16, right? Dividing by 16. So I do the same thing to the top. 48 divided by 16 is 3 pounds, and we're done. What problem was that again, Mr. Ponko? That was 56. That was 56. 62 to 65, you got 2 answers per problem. They want you to find both the perimeter and the area. I'm going to do one of them for you. I'm going to do number 64. I'm going to do number 64. 64 has a length of 3.2 and a width of 6. So if I'm going to find the perimeter, I'm going to take 3.2, add it to another 3.2, add it to a 6, and add it to another 6. Notice how I lined up the decimal points in that problem. The 6 has a decimal point that's right here. We don't see it, but we know it's there. I lined up all the decimal points, and now I just add. 3 plus 3 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. I get 18.4. What's our label for this problem? It's going to be meters. Meters. So there's my first answer. My perimeter is 18.4 meters. Now I'm going to find the area. Area equals length times width. So I just simply take the 3.2 times the 6, and I get 192. But there's one decimal place value, so I start on the right side, and I put it 1 over. 19.2 square meters. Square meters. So the perimeter is 18.4. The area is 19.2. We're down to 64. Bottom of the page. 66 to 69. Yes, you can use a calculator for that. They want you to find the circumference of a given circle if they give you a radius or if they give you a diameter. Be careful, folks. Remember, to find circumference, we have to choose between 2 formulas, either diameter times pi or 2 times pi times radius. Now, I'm going to do 66. 66 says we have a radius of 4.2. Well, if the radius is 4.2, I'm going to use the bottom formula because it has r in it. What's 2 times pi times 4.2? 2 times pi times 4.2 is going to give me my circumference, right? I happen to know that 2 times 3.14 is 6.28. I then take that times the 4.2, and let's see what we get. I get that really big number, but look up here. Notice how there's 3 different decimal place values? So starting on the right, I count over 3 places, and I get 26.376. Also, the directions say to round to the nearest tenths. So what would this be rounded to tenths? It would be 26.4. And what's my label for this problem? The label is centimeters. So my answer for problem 66 is 26.4 centimeters. Okay, 6th grade, hopefully this helps you. Bye-bye.